guys, on Get to 134 here.
Average Joe Squad here.
And welcome to the 70s edition of Remember the Hyphen. If you notice, we're in a weird filter. That's because a couple days ago, and we originally wanted to shoot this after, but life got in the way. Life finds a way. So we saw a special Fathom event in Erie, which I really do enjoy the Fathom events, like just because of the way they're the way they bring like new, we're also doing this on our lunch. The way they do like special events where like they re-release films into theaters so that we can like watch stuff on the big screen again. And it's appropriate seeing it's how it's the month of macabre, the month of horror, Halloween, October. We went to see the original Alien in theaters.
Yeah, we were at work the one day, and I actually found out about it because I follow Phantom events on Facebook, and they had posted, "Hey, we're gonna have Alien 3 days in a row." I'm looking at the dates because I mentioned to him, I was like, "Hey, Alien show," and I'm like, "You want to go see it?" He's like, "Yeah, what day is it?" And like I look up, and I'm like, "Oh, hey, it's on our usual Tuesday day off, so why not?"
Yeah, so we saw it, and I admit it was fun. It was a fun time. The only problem was, it's obviously done like on like a DVD from like a DVD or like some sort of special like promo disc or something or like an MP3 download. And they had some issues with it, so it started like a half hour later than we.
But still, I mean, once it got going, it was
good, much like Alien, actually. Now, I will admit, it was ages since I've seen this movie, but like
it's been probably about a decade and a half.
Yeah, for instance, I kind of forgot that they introduced the whole android concept into the original movie and not the second one.
I think the last Alien movie I actually watched was Resurrection, because I own it on Blu-ray.
I've seen reviews of Prometheus, and I've not seen anything about Covenant, so I have no idea how good that is or how bad it is. I think I've heard people say they kind of have mixed thoughts about it.
Yeah, I mean, we can all agree Alien 3 is bad, though.
Yeah. To be honest, I'm more of an Aliens guy than I am Alien, but I mean, I like both. I just like Aliens a little bit more. And I think
I'm the opposite. I like Alien more because to me, Alien is more of a horror film whereas Alien is more of really an action.
Yeah.
movie.
I mean, it's one of the reasons why the original film is known as a haunted house in space, and I can't really disagree with that, especially because the way this spaceship is set up. It's very like with all these shadows and pipes, and I get it's supposed to be like the Nostromo is supposed to be like an industrial mining ship, so it's probably an old clunker that's mainly working on hope and a prayer. Especially with how the segment that can land on the planet was kind of a junker. So yeah, I guess we could probably just talk about the things we liked or just bring up certain points since everyone's seen it and there's no need for us to go into plot points.
The biggest thing...
And I don't want to hear anyone complain about spoilers. This movie's...
From 78.
Yeah, this movie's...
If you haven't seen it at this point, it's your own fault.
I was about to say.
But no, the biggest draw for me going into it, and definitely was, as it turned out, was hearing the sound effects through proper theater surround sound.
Oh, yeah.
Like when the chest burst, you can ask him, when the chest burster actually happened, you saw, I jumped because it was so damn loud that it was actually frightening.
You could say you were John Hurt.
I mean, the same thing happened with the face hugger. Remember, I think that scared the shit out of everybody.
No, yeah, when the face hugger leaps out and lashes onto, I forget what his name is. I just know him. I just call him John Hurt because that's his actor. When he leaps onto John Hurt's face, I was like, oh, that actually looks really painful. Especially like you hear a lot of the noises. Like you can hear like the tail wrapping around his neck to keep him.
The Xeno sound effect. That was. I remember you and me both saying that was a main draw. Was hearing the Xeno in an actual theater.
That and just hearing the heartbeat play whenever like the thing was closing in on them when the xenomorph closed in on them, that was just really, really solid. I really liked a lot of the production work in this. I like the H.R. Geiger pipes and stuff theme that makes everything look dank and kind of run down or organic, drudgy. Like especially like the alien ship that the one with the space jockey, the one that Prometheus decided everybody needed to know about. Which I'm like, did you really care about what the space jockey was?
Dude, it was already dead. What was the point?
Thank you. But like
I have the same feeling towards it that I do towards who dropped the bombs in Fallout. Does it really freaking matter?
I really also have to give a lot of praise to the design work on the Xenomorph. That thing still looks super great even in this movie. Like, it's no wonder this thing became such an iconic creature of its time, because it just looks so good.
Oh, definitely does. And like, I think it's actually helped that you don't see it a whole lot. You see like glimpses of it. Yeah. And I think the only time you really see it full on is near the end when Dallas gets killed. Yeah. Like and it's only for like a flash. You see the whole thing. You're just like, holy crap, this thing is huge.
Well, mainly you only see from the torso down. I think you get an idea of how big it is when it kills the other woman on the ship. But otherwise, yeah, you never really you get that it's huge, because like you get like how big it is, but like for the most part you see either like its tail or occasionally its claws, but most of the time you just see the domed head and the teeth.
The teeth and the second jaw.
Yeah. Which the second jaw looks really, really creepy in this one. Like, normally the jaw, I think, in the later films is black, like the rest of its body.
This thing's like fucking silver, basically.
Yeah. Which I almost think it was kind of
whenever they show it, like most of the time it's got water running down through it. And it's just like, oh. Like,
well, yeah, because you can always see like the slobber and the slime that's oozing out of its mouth anytime. I especially love, I don't know if that's an effect or if that's legitimately like the actor's face with the teeth, but like I always love the way the mouth like it makes that like almost hissing noise like a cat. Which, to be fair, I think the bigger monster in this movie was Jonesy the cat than it was the actual Xenomorph. Like he got so many people killed, and Ripley almost died because of that cat. Which, for the record, I love cats.
Headcanon. That's actually Goose from Captain Marvel. It's actually a Flerken.
I didn't know Flerken.
Jonesy was in no trouble. Was in no danger at all because he was a Flerken.
Yeah. Even the Xenomorphs don't fear Flerkens. But yeah, no, I loved a lot of the design work for the spaceships and stuff. I liked how the Nostromo looked kind of less like a ship and more kind of like almost like a nuclear reactor.
A part I don't think ever gets really enough praise is just the costume design as well. Like I think the costume design really, it doesn't look very futuristic, but it doesn't look dated either. Yeah. It looks like something that like, hey, they're a mining crew. This is what a mining crew would wear.
Like they wear like zip ups and one piece like
flight suits.
And like honestly the only weird like stuff you would see is the part when they first wake up in the pods. You can see that like the women have like just a line of cloth over their nipples, and I'm like, I mean, at that point, if you're that naked in the pod, what's this gonna do? Like, what? Just wear a bra. I don't know. That part was
really the only time you see skin really on the females, either, except for near the end when Ripley is getting.
Well, when Ripley's in her underwear, but like that. And to be fair, I think
that's done tastefully.
Not only that, it makes sense for me why, like they put her there in just her underwear, because it's supposed to be like, she's taking off her armor in a sense, like she's like, because there's ways of doing nudity that isn't just sexual, like the idea that like when you're naked you're most comfortable, but at the same time you can also use it to say like you're exposed and that you're
naked and afraid.
Yeah, naked and afraid. I say that much because like as someone who read the Batman the Black controversy, I read the scene where he's naked, and it's a scene where like a demon takes over his bat suit and tries to kill him while he's naked in the Batcave. Like the reason he's naked in the Batcave is because it's his home and he feels comfortable there. Like he's not getting nude because he's like look at my bat pole. He's
look at my dick,
Grayson.
Look at it,
Bruce. I'm right here. But like for here, like and not only that, she goes into a spacesuit right after she gets jumped by the alien.
Yeah.
So like to me, it very much is like it's like she had let her guard down and now she's putting her guard back up. Like there's a reason why she's naked. It's not like a slasher film where like we paid this actress for her boobs, so let's get them out. If I had any real complaints about this movie, it's mostly just a bit of the ending with the strobing light effect for like. When like Ripley sets the ship.
We have a friend who has seizures, and we actually were considering bringing him to the movie And then we saw that, we're like, oh Christ, we're glad we did. We would have killed this kid, basically.
Because it really did hurt your eyes if you were watching it on the big screen.
Like I'm not epileptic at all. I don't have seizures.
But it did hurt.
Like it hurt my eyes and it gave me a headache pretty bad. Yeah. Just because it was like, and I get that's the point. That's how like ships react when they're getting ready to destruct. They have all these warning lights going off to get your attention. But at the same time, it's like the way in which it was filmed. Because not only do you have that going on, you have the red lights flashing in it. You have the flamethrower going off, and it's like it's so bright at points. It just hurts your eyes.
And compact that with all the loud noises, it kind of get like it will. I don't know. It was a little bad. I feel like it wouldn't be too bad if I watched it on a television set.
But on a big screen like that with the
I was surprised that and to be fair, it probably wouldn't have been that bad back in the 70s either, because like surround sound wasn't nearly as and it might have just been they didn't properly lower the volume or like, but yeah, that was really the only one complaint I think either of you or I had, other than the fact that it is kind of a slow burn. Because, like, for the first half of this film, like, it's mostly shots of space, shots of them getting ready to help the SOS.
Well, because Scott was influenced by 2001: A Space Odyssey, and that's what 2001 is. It's a lot of slow shots, you know.
But for good or for bad, that's one of the bigger problems with a lot of space movies, like Disney's The Black Hole.
Yeah,
good Lord, that movie's so boring.
I actually mentioned it to him coming out that I really agree with what James Rolfe said in his top 50 movies, because he talks about Alien. He mentions that he's like it's really slow in the beginning, and then it just ramps up right near the end. Like as soon as the alien happens, everything ramps up to like 100 basically.
Which, to be fair, I think is good, because I think it gets you kind of into a lulled feeling of suspense.
Yeah, I mean, but the only problem is when you're trying to watch a movie, you can ask him. I was starting to nod off a couple times in the beginning because
I did notice that you even yawned, and I was like,
I was forgetting how slow it was in the beginning.
Yeah, and to be fair, like I don't mind horror movies that do that, because it's trying to set up like this is how things are before things go pear-shaped. Because it wants to give you kind of a lull in your sense of security that you're going to face something horrifying, basically. So do you want to talk about Ripley a little bit? I will admit, as someone who loves Ripley and Aliens and pretty much all the other, like, because say what you will about 3 and Resurrection, Ripley is like the best part of those movies.
Especially Resurrection.
Although that one's hard for me just because Ripley in that is so not Ripley. Like the fact that like she keeps saying the F word for fork. Like, and I'm like,
well, and it's like,
I get that that's supposed to be cute because she's like
it's not really Ripley. It's Ripley 8. It's a clone.
Well, yeah, but like the other problem is though
that's not really good.
Not only that it's not that she's a clone. It's that Josh Whedon is wanting to write her like a closeted lesbian. Because like I never got that attitude from her in any other film, and I love lesbians, for the record. Nothing makes me happier than when we got some lesbian superheroes coming up. But, like, I never like when a character is
done just for the, hey, we have this.
Yeah, it's, like, literally she's only like that so she can, like, kind of hit on Winona Ryder's character in that movie. And it doesn't work for me, because I'm like, that doesn't seem like Ripley at all. And to be fair, I will admit, I think that's one of the other reasons why, as much as I like this movie, I kind of prefer Aliens just because I like Ripley so much more in Aliens. Because Ripley is very much not
Yeah, we
not
brought this
Ripley.
up coming out of the theater, is that Ripley, compared to the other movies, Ripley is very, I don't even really know if I want to use the word timid, but just very, she doesn't act like a badass like she does in the other ones. She's basically fighting for her life, and you can tell she's pretty much scared shitless throughout the entire movie when the alien actually shows up.
Not so to rescue the cat, though. I'm like,
yeah, as a happy dad to a couple of fur babies, I understand.
I mean, I do, but like, yeah, like it's like, and to be fair, I get that this movie's kind of what builds Ripley into who she is. Which, in that case, which is good. But at the same time, it's
Aliens Ripley and Alien Ripley are not real. They're kind of two different.
Yeah, like if you've only ever seen Aliens and then go to see this movie, you're gonna be like, oh, this is not the same. It's kind of like Terminator and Terminator 2, like with Sarah Connor, because like Sarah Connor in 1 is just a scared woman trying to not get killed by the murderous Arnold Schwarzenegger that's been sent back in time. Yeah,
come with me, if you want to do.
I'll be back.
Hasta la vista, babies.
Your parents have been killed. Well, that's become a meme.
Yeah, I love that. That's a meme. I love
such
memes.
a great meme. So
I actually saw an Aliens one the other night too.
Oh,
it was when you see a coworker being harassed by a Karen, get away from her, you bitch. I'm like, Jesus Christ. Can this become a meme?
She does call someone a bitch in this movie. She calls the computer mother. Yeah,
the computer system.
Yeah, because it has a fail safe in the like if you shut it down before 5 minutes passes on the 10-minute timer,
it'll shut the self-destruct off.
But if you don't, and to be fair, Ripley pretty much turned it off. Like Mother could have but then again, Mother and Asher, the Dr. Asher representations of what's to come in these movies with Wayland Yutani.
I'm afraid I can't do that, Ripley.
Yeah, like
I think I even made that crack during the movie after the self-destruct couldn't get turned off. I was I'm afraid I can't do that, Ripley.
Man, 2001: A Space Odyssey would be a much different movie if it was Ripley trying to.
It was Ripley against Hal.
Because she would have just instead of like turning the CPU off, she would just lit it on fire. He would have been singing Daisy, and he'd be like, "Oh God!"
It would have been that scene in Resurrection where she burns all the clones.
No, exactly. Speaking of Ash, I felt so bad. We were watching this. I totally forgot that Ash was an android in this movie.
Yeah, like it actually was coming up, and because I remember he mentioned he's like, I think he's working for Wayland Yutani, and I'm just like, have you never seen this movie? And he's like, no, I've seen it. It's just been so long since I've seen it.
And even then, this is a movie I've seen in chunks, just because of the fact that it's kind of.
But after he said, oh, it's been a while, I'm like, okay, I just didn't say it because I knew that twist was
I'm
coming.
glad you didn't.
But I was like, okay, like because if you hadn't seen it, I was gonna not spoil it.
No,
But after you said it had been a while, I'm like, okay, then he just doesn't.
Especially because like he's drinking milk all the time, which is like a big hint usually to the because like for some reason they run on milk. I know that's not supposed to be what it is, but it's milk. Like the blood of an android is milk. I felt so dumb. I didn't really think about it until him and Ripley have that scuffle where she gets the bloody nose, and then you notice this white liquid running down his face, and I'm like, oh right, androids. I forgot that androids were introduced this early on.
Yeah.
Which it is a great plot twist if you've never seen the movie.
I think one thing the movie really does well is capturing the feeling of fear.
Yeah.
Like, especially in like near the end when the other female crew member, and I feel bad I can't remember the rest of the character's name. I remember Dallas and Ash and
Parker.
Ripley. Like, it's not Parker. It's L something.
Well, no, I meant the black guy, Parker.
Well, no, the other girl's name is like La something.
Yeah.
I want to say I almost want to say Laverne, but I'm like, I think that's the same actress, but I don't think it is. But anyway,
I'll look it up.
Yeah, look it up real quick. But there's a part near the end where she, Ripley, and Parker, they're all getting ready to leave. They're going to get on the shuttle and just leave and blow the ship up. Well, what happens is they go to get all this, like, what was it, like coolant? Yeah, it was
cooling, because they're going to just try and survive out in space because they're near like the outer rim or something like that.
Yeah, I remember it said they would take them like 10 months to get to Earth, and then near the end, Ripley says it'll take her like 3 weeks to get to the next Lambert, okay. But
I mean,
they're going to get coolant, and the alien shows up, and Parker's yelling at her to get out of the way so he can hit it with the flame.
Yeah,
and she's just like the poor woman is just frozen stiff with fear.
She's pretty much after Dallas dies, she's pretty much done. Like, cause she out of all of them when the chest burster happened, she freaked out the most.
Well, and I feel like she blames herself for Dallas's death because she tells him to get out of there, and he just drops down level. I don't know if she knows
both her and Dallas do feel pretty guilty too, because they're the ones that told Ripley, who was trying to follow the quarantine protocol, let them in because John Hurt's character was gonna die if he did. They don't know when the thing gets on his head. Like, both of them feel immense guilt for the fact that they let this creature on the ship.
Yeah. But I mean, like you can just, that's one thing that, and even with Ripley, like they do really well showing the fear. It's kind of like near the end of the movie when she's getting ready to blow it out through the door.
Yeah, and she's singing a song to
yeah,
herself.
you can tell by the way she's singing it that she's extremely scared.
Yeah, she's trying to keep herself composed because she pours some sort of gas on the thing.
I'm almost positive it was liquid nitrogen.
Yeah, she was like trying to like, because like flame has clearly not worked on the thing because like they've tried blasting and it never really did much to it.
It's like cold. Cold is what's supposed to really be a weakness to it.
But then like the thing, but then like the thing can like survive in like depths of space. I don't really know how well cold would do if it can survive in the vacuum.
Which is why as soon as it gets outside, Ripley just throws the thing into the exhaust basically
launches it into space. Which is, of course, my favorite part of the fact that Ash tries to get the thing to Earth because, like, the science division of Weyland-Yutani wants to turn it into a weapon. Which is, like, an overarching theme throughout all the films.
We can use the aliens as weapon. And I'm like, yeah, drop them onto a planet where it kills everyone, and then you have a whole planet of the damn things. That doesn't fix the problem. That makes the problem worse.
And thank goodness, like, they blew up the ship, which meant the facehugger went with it. Because, like, that's all they need. And
God, man, the design of the facehuggers in this are so freaking creepy.
Well, funny you say that because one of the ideas is that aside from like the arms on the thing that are supposed to be like fingers, it's actually supposed to be kind of based on a vagina, because like that was actually one of like there's a lot of phallic imagery with the aliens because it's kind of in a sense the aliens. And I'll warn you guys right now, if this makes you uncomfortable, you can turn off, because it's hard to talk about, but it is kind of a thing with the design of the alien. Is very much supposed to be like, and I'm not saying like good sexual, but like it's supposed to be a metaphor for like sexual assault. Like the facehugger forces something into your body, and
well, it's kind of like there's examples of that in nature as well.
Yeah, I think I was originally inspired by like those wasps that paralyze spiders and then fill their body with eggs.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
The tiger wasp.
I hate wasps.
Well, trust me, if you were a spider, you'd hate this one. Regardless, whatever creature you are, you'd hate this.
I'm one of those people. I have a phobia of bees and wasps. It makes my skin crawl.
I have no problem with bees because they provide an important service
Normal
to the environment.
Bumblebees, you gotta remember, bumblebees, I have bite marks.
Oh no, I understand, my man. I understand. So. I was just saying myself.
Honeybees, I got no beef with, as long as you don't screw with them, they don't care.
Yeah, I have no problem with most bees, but wasps, I take it upon myself to do what Ripley does to the clones.
Wasps and hornets, especially.
If I had a flamethrower in time, I would personally flamethrower any wasp on my house. But I don't want to light my house on fire. But you know, like the fact that the thing bursts out of the chest is very much kind of, and like the second mouth for aliens is kind of supposed to be kind of, or at least implied like that. And a lot of films or a lot of like stuff has said that was kind of one of the points of the xenomorphs' design. That and the fact that they were based on ants. Yeah. A lot of people think they're based on bees and stuff. No, they're based on ants and like termites, like especially the way they crawl around. Although, imagine if a xenomorph had wings. That'd just be it.
I feel like there's a version of them somewhere.
Oh, you remember the alien toys? I bet there's a flying alien. In fact, I think there is a flying alien.
Which, no fucking thank you.
Thank you. I know there's a praying mantis alien, a gorilla alien, and a bull alien from that toy line.
There's crocodile alien.
Oh, yeah, the crocodile alien from Batman versus Aliens, which is...
What about Joker alien?
I actually will admit, I think the Aliens and Predators have had much better crossovers than some comic book stuff, because they were done by Black Horse. And I actually really like the first Batman vs. Alien, the first Batman vs. Predator. They're solid stories. Granted, Batman vs. Alien is pretty much just the original Alien, but it was done on the rainforest. And Batman vs. Predator is basically Predator 2. But like, I mean, they're enjoyable at least. Yeah. Honestly, if I were to rank this movie with the rest of them, I'd probably rank it a solid B+. I think if you like horror stuff, you'll like it a little bit more. And I do like horror stuff. I'm a guy who likes something like The Thing. Stuff that's a little bit more psychologically scary. David Lynch's Pod People. stuff like that. Although I will admit the dog with the human head is really bad
Night of
looking.
Night of the Living Dead's another.
I kind of prefer Dawn of the Dead, but that's just mostly because
Night of the Living Dead probably scares me just because it's black and white. It looks really freaky.
Dawn of the Dead, I think, and to be fair, I like Dawn of the Dead more for the fact that it's kind of a satire of like the zombies in the mall and the. But I will admit, I like.
You
Night
don't
of
like
the
the
Living Dead.
remake?
Actually, I don't mind the remake. I know a lot of people
hate the remake.
It's different, but like I don't think it's necessarily bad. I could do without the zombie baby coming erupting out of the womb. That was a little unnecessary, but I mean, otherwise, I think it's perfectly serviceable. But getting back to Alien, it's like I said, it's I think it's important if you like horror stuff that you should watch it, especially not only just horror, but the fact that it did so much for science fiction. Because like
I really feel like it helped reestablish that sci-fi could be serious and yet still turn a profit. Because I mean, at this point, I mean, you can argue that the Star Trek movies were on the downturn.
Well,
I want to say because what time was?
Well, I want to say this came out after the motion picture, and then after that's Wrath of Khan, and Wrath of Khan's arguably the best one.
Wrath of Khan's obviously good, but it's like the first picture obviously was not.
A.k.a. the slow motion picture.
The first one wasn't the best, and then you had
Wrath of Khan, which is great.
Yeah.
And then you had I like The Search for Spock. I know a lot of people kind of.
But I mean, I feel like the defining argument back then was that these already have built-in fan bases.
Yeah. Well, I think one of the other things that was so good for this is that it makes sci-fi dirty again. Because, like, with Star Trek and Star Wars and a lot of other sci-fi, it's usually, like, a shiny future. And then you got, like, stuff like this in Blade Runner that kind of remembers, dystopian futures. Like, I think this helped show that, like, the future can be kind of grungy and dirty as well as bright and hopeful. Which I think did really well. And I also kind of think that without this, we probably wouldn't have like the techno stuff that we got, the techno punk stuff we got in, like, say, Terminator.
That reminds me, we should do a review of Blade Runner at some point. I have it on Blu-ray somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't.
The good version, not the theatrical.
Well, yeah. Yeah, what are your final thoughts?
Like I said, Alien has always been the one I prefer out of all of the Alien movies. I don't know how much of that is just based on the fact that it's less actiony and it's more psychologically horrifying of a movie.
Fair.
Well, like, I'm not saying I dislike Aliens either, because I enjoy Aliens, but I don't know. I've always liked Alien a little more just because it feels more like a as you describe it, haunted house in space.
Yeah.
It feels very much that this thing's in there with them. They're trapped. They can't go anywhere because they're in space.
And they're the only ship in range.
And in space, no one can hear you scream.
Like, wasn't that the tagline for this movie when it came out? Yeah. But yeah, I will admit there was one thing that I thought was kind of weird. I thought, like, Weyland didn't merge with Yutani until Aliens, but here they were. I don't know. I thought that was weird because I thought Weyland didn't merge with Yutani until.
It could have easily been that Aliens was retconning that.
It could have been. Because I remember I thought, like, the big deal was, like, because Ripley, like, because, like, there's, like, a 50-year gap between Alien and Aliens because, like, she's in cryospace and, like, they only kind of stumble upon her because, like, she was in the depths of space. Because, like, that's one of the other things that sets... Because, like, I think they cut it out of the original film, but, like, one of the reasons Ripley's so gung-ho about signing back up with Weyland and Yutani is her daughter died in the intervening time because, it's been 50 years. And so she has... Not only did she lose the family she had on the Nostromo, the only family she had left is now gone as well. It's one of the reasons why she clings so much to Newt. And why she fights so hard to keep Newt alive. But yeah, like, because I swear I remember in Aliens they talk about how Weyland got bought out by Yutani. It's just kind of interesting because, like,
It's interesting you bring up the fact that Ripley fights so hard to keep Newt alive. It really reminds me of how Joel and Ellie are in The Last of Us, which I'm sure that was... Newt and Ripley was probably a big inspiration on that.
Oh, yeah.
Because it definitely, throughout parts of Last of Us, especially near the ending, it really feels like Joel is Joel really fights to keep Ellie alive as
Yeah.
a way of like, I couldn't keep my daughter alive, so I'm gonna keep this one alive. I won't lose another person I care about, basically, kind of deal.
Right at the cost of allowing the zombie apocalypse to keep going, but
again, there's an argument that it's like it wouldn't have done much different.
True. But yeah, like I said, I will admit I really do like this movie. It's just
It's very slow near the beginning.
Yeah. But that's always, I mean, to be fair, like, I like the original Godzilla, and that's a slow burn. That's one of the reasons why the 2014 Godzilla I don't really mind, because
it jumps right in.
Well, actually, it's pretty slow, because you only see the fight, the after effects of the fight, much like how you mostly just see the after effects of Godzilla's rampage in the first film. But that didn't bother me that much, because I was like, I mean, granted, I will admit that they cut away from the fight a lot towards the end, but, like, I didn't think it was that bad. King of the Monsters, I will admit, however, was a much better, was a much more intense action film than, well, the first one. But, I don't know.
So I think it's about time we wrap this one up. So, but yeah, overall, continuing with this trend from Adam Family, I give it 5 out of 5 Xeno heads.
I give it 4 face huggers and 1 chest burster out of 5. That's my X-Player parody. But
yeah, overall, very, very entertaining film. Was awesome to see it on the big screen. Definitely still holds up as being pretty terrifying in points of it.
True, very true. Yeah, no, that's pretty much all I gotta say. I know this is kind of a short one, but I mean, we're talking about a movie.
We're talking about a movie that's been out since '78, and we went and saw the re-release of it.
Yeah. If I could say anything else, I'd just say it is worth it to see it on the big screen. I would kind of like to go back and see some of their other stuff, but I don't know if I'll have the time, especially because then you really wouldn't want to go, because most of the ones I want to see are like Miyazaki films.
You could probably get Riley to go.
I could probably get Riley to go, but anyway, guys, I think that's going to be it for this episode of Remember the Hyphen. I'm Zongetsu134.
And I'm Average Joe Squad.
And as always, we ask you, remember the hyphen. Take care.